Hey guys, so we're going to do a reading today. I'm going to do an interesting one. This is going to go in my Unsolved Mysteries section here. And how I decided to come upon this is a little bit different here. Is that I'm going to take on the case of Natalie Wood, which this is the funny story of why I decided to do it. And, for those who don't know who Natalie Wood is, we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. But very famous star, especially in the 50s, 60s. And she continued acting and all kinds of stuff. Very, very tragic life. Very, not a very challenging life. Beautiful woman. And if you don't know who she is, well, she's going to be in the thumbnail. But there she is. She was just an absolute beauty. Beautiful. Striking eyes. Striking eyes. And her sign, she was born November 29th, or oh, excuse me, sorry, July 20th, 1938. So I believe that's the year even my mother was born and stuff. She was born that year. My mother was born in 38. And so, she definitely would have been, like 80 some odd today. And so she was a Cancer, the sign of Cancer. Now I'll get to that. It's pretty interesting. But I believe she's on the cusp of Leo there, and which a lot of times Leo, so definitely there's going to be some first house Leo energy, which a Leo side, especially for people who become stars and everything, acting and being in the spotlight. You can see a lot of Leo in celebrity charts and stuff. So anyway, and she's American, but her parents did immigrate from Russia, and so her original name, here it is in the wiki. Hopefully, well, I think it was Natalia or something. It's Zakharenko. Hopefully, I'm saying that right. And just so you know, as they immigrated from Russia, I am going to use, which I very rarely use, pull out only for special occasions. I do have a Russian deck that I'm going to read with for this read, because I thought about that. I'm like, you know what, that to do this read, which I'm going to get into some deep mystery here. Hopefully, we can get some answers. I know I can't solve the case, and so that is something that has to be, of course, if it ever even in a court of law, which will look, will it even get there? Which I kind of have some feels on it, but I'm not sure yet. But I'm still gonna dig. Okay. And so, but yes, I'm going to use my Russian deck. But basically, she definitely, she was a child star. She was in Miracle on 34th Street. Many, with her childhood, definitely remember that movie. If anybody see that movie, she is, of course, the little girl. Her mother, she had wanted to be like a ballerina, maybe an actress. She didn't really get to take off. So she kind of lived through Natalie, making her a star, putting her in things, moving to Los Angeles. I want her to be a star, all this stuff. She kind of, took control of that. So it was real important for her to make her a star, which I'm sure, probably wasn't easy there. And I can definitely feel there's a little bit having to be perfect, was probably, kind of one of the things, some kind of pressures there. Okay, and so kind of looking at some of the history, some a little bit of the documentaries, things I read, things on Natalie Wood. But there's some interesting things. Now, let me talk about how I decided to do this read, because this is where spirit's like intriguing me. I got to do this. Okay. Last night I was just kind of on TikTok, messing around, just kind of looking at stuff. Sometimes I just like to watch stuff. Sometimes you get some good info from these guys. Okay. But somebody kind of started talking about, oh, this woman, this, that. They didn't say who it was yet, but they were kind of talking about a woman and the water and this, that, and I'm like, I think she's talking about Natalie Wood. I definitely was getting that vibe, and of course that's who she was. And so anyway, I said, and I was just kind of sitting there for a minute after I kind of watched, and I'm like, I never really kind of dug in there, because I was a very young person when Natalie Wood passed, and it was sadly announced that she had drowned. That's what it was ruled, that she had drowned, right? And so I knew little bits of the case. She was married to Robert Wagner. There were people who kind of wondered if he had something to do with it. Christopher Walken, I knew he was on the boat. I knew him from his one movies. I especially know, Christopher Walken, The Dead Zone. That's what really got me. I love him in that movie. I mean, that was just, I don't know, there's something about that movie, The Dead Zone and stuff. So, especially he was much younger. And I remember as a young person that Brainstorm movie that they were making, little bits of scenes of it. And apparently she died during the making. They still got it out. They did something to get the movie out. So, I remember that being young, and she had maybe slipped off the boat, drowned, but there was a mystery involved. But I never really probed and examined it. I was very young, and then I go on with life and certain things. And once in a while, you hear about that mystery. And so, but anyway, so I see this TikTok, and I'm like, I never really probed that. That was such a big thing that happened. She was a huge actress, and I love the movie West Side Story, and so I'd like to maybe watch, a couple things on that. Maybe one day I'll sit down and do a reading, not necessarily planning this. So this is the thing. This is, and see, when spirit gets my attention, that gets me going. That just makes me want to probe even more. That spirit wants me to look at something. I don't know what it is, but I'm gonna look. Okay. So I put up the TV because I like to watch YouTube on TV. Gonna watch some documentaries. Right underneath my YouTube icon, right underneath my app, is a thing for the remake, yes, of West Side Story. West Side Story. There it is. And that, I remember that movie, watching her, the first movie I cried in and stuff, the West Side Story movie. There it is. It's sitting right under my YouTube app. And I went, there's no coincidence there. That's just asking me that I gotta check this out. Now I'm really curious, because I just take that as a sign. What are the odds of all the movies possible that are loaded on, my thing here, that West Side Story is going to land right underneath it? It may not be the one she was in, but it's still a movie she's very well known for. Okay? And so this movie had been nominated Oscar, all kinds of stuff. Okay, this was a very big movie back in its day. So I went, that's just not natural. That's not natural. I need to look. Okay, so this is where it gets interesting. Okay, so I gave a little bit of Natalie Wood. This is where, when I found this out, I never knew this about her. I never knew this about Natalie Wood. And some of you watching, may know the story. Some of you may not. And stuff, but I definitely was absolutely intrigued by this. So apparently her mother, somehow, and apparently I believe she was in China or something. She went to a fortune teller. So Natalie Wood, she's, from what I understand, there's different variations, but I also listened to the sister, who knows of the story. She does have a younger sister who's been very vocal and written books about what she feels happened to Natalie Wood. Anyway, apparently the mother went to a fortune teller, asked her to kind of read various things, tell her fortune situation, and this happened in China, some kind of gypsy, whatever. And so some of the gist of it, she kind of read on Natalie, young Natalie, and stuff, and everything. Or maybe the other, no, Natalie was the younger sister. Okay, let me correct. Okay, so she said this child, the second born child, and stuff, she will be very beautiful. She will be very well known, internationally well known. I've heard a few different versions of this, but definitely everybody would know her. She famous. She would have all that. Fame. Fortune. All that. She would predict that. But and this is where there's a couple little versions. What maybe that she would drown, but this one seems to be pretty solid in most of them. She needs to beware of dark water. Okay. So see, I never knew this about Natalie Wood. That her mother had a fortune read. And so apparently, and mother told her about it apparently, and stuff. And I don't know why she did this, especially to tell her young, and I think that Natalie Wood may have been present with the reader. Okay, but this is very, to somebody who does readings, is incredibly, this about blew my mind and stuff, and I know that there are people all over that can do this and stuff, that can be that accurate, but this is almost a little bit of, like the Oracle of Delphi, okay, and the Oedipus, okay, and stuff. If you know of the story, of course, it goes to Oracle of Delphi, makes a prediction, basically would lay with the mother and kill your father and stuff. So if we know the story, he's like, oh my God, this is what he's told. I can't do that. I don't want to have sex with my mother. I don't want to kill my father, all this stuff and everything. So, what does he do? He runs, he goes away in the land and stuff. And things happen where, he doesn't know his mother, right? But something happens where he ends up laying with his mother and he ends up accidentally killing his father. So it's kind of like when he tries to run from something, he walked right into it. And maybe if he never ran in the first place, then these things wouldn't have happened. But because he ran and stuff, after hearing this thing from the Oracle, he walked right into something. Okay, so then you kind of sit there in a haze and a mystery, with the oracle and stuff about maybe if they never said something, or if they never believed it, or especially allowed the dark cloud to take over, that these things would happen. And so that's where we get the saying, know thyself. Know thyself. So this is when I kind of have to step back, and this is kind of a lesson even for readers as well as those who go to have readings. And this is, I do not do predictions like this and stuff. I try to be very careful not to ever walk in there. Definitely, warn people, and I can understand if a psychic is sitting there and starting to see stuff, I can understand why I give it a warning. But okay, I also understand the power of saying these things. The dark cloud, because it's definitely put a dark cloud over Natalie Wood's head. Okay, in the sense that she was always fearful of water. She was fearful, terrified of water. As even in the movie, she did, what was it, the brainstorm or whatever, there was a scene that was supposed to involve water and stuff like that, and they had to cut it out because she didn't want to do it. Okay, except and she there was an accident as a child on a movie set. She fell into water. There's kind of a dramatic scene, and stuff, all kinds of stuff. Matter of fact, she ended up injuring her wrist. And she got and because very self-conscious perfectionist, from that day on, because of some kind of scar she had, she always wore a bracelet. And it's weird because she apparently broke her wrist, but her mother never took her to the doctor. I don't know why, but she always wore a bracelet to cover the scar on her wrist. Okay, terrified of water, terrified. So she never learned how to swim. Okay, she didn't want to go in the water. She didn't want to learn how to swim. She didn't want to deal with it because she was just terrified of water. Okay, so see, this is where, okay, now let's step back here. Now we've had this fortune read. Okay, maybe this little warning, dark water, maybe, what if I overcome my fear, if I learn how to swim, okay, maybe we could have maybe had a different outcome. It's real hard to say, but definitely the power of what people can see, which I definitely do know it as a reader, but I also know if a dark cloud comes in, it's a fear, it can become a self-fulfilling prophecy, which is especially a very old lesson with the story of Oedipus and the Oracle at Delphi. Okay, when you try to avoid your fate, you could actually run right into it. So it's a little bit of a spooky lesson there. And so this is also one of the reasons, just even as a reader, a lesson for readers, be very careful. Sometimes these messages, like sometimes people, I really feel this terrible thing's going to happen. And I may sit with them, let's talk about it, let's talk before you even think about relaying a message. I've done this with readers. They've come to me, there's that photo of the group and everything, and I'm seeing this, and I'm seeing this happen. What do I do? And there are times I'm like, I know the power of exactly what I'm talking about can happen if they say it. Okay, so that because you said it, it happened. Because maybe they became fearful and took certain actions, and they walked right into what you were saying. And stuff where if they would have never heard it, never known, they wouldn't have been fearful, and certain things didn't come to pass. Okay, so it's a very tricky know thyself situation. That's pretty much a lesson of the Oracle of Delphi and Oedipus. And it's a big lesson here with the case of Natalie Wood. If she would have had this extreme fear of water, maybe she would have learned how to swim. Maybe, just maybe, if she had fallen in water, I know she'd been drinking, maybe it would have made a difference. I don't know. Okay, and so, but at the same time, maybe, just maybe, she would have made it. Okay, so it's one of these. It's one of these we will just never completely know. This is an area of mystery, especially when it comes to psychics and predictions and visions that they see. That sometimes we have to sit there and we just gotta let the lesson sink in and kind of deepen. And so when I kind of heard that, I understood that I definitely understand part of the thing, that there's a twofold. I'm going to read the situation, but there's a lesson out there to anybody who's a reader or goes for a read. A little bit of situations. Be careful if you ever have had something like a dark cloud or certain things like that. I see. I had a reading like that myself once. Okay, just so you know about some things, which we're all past that. Okay, but with certain things, with certain situations, and so be very careful. Know thyself. Know thyself. If Oedipus would have known himself, he would have ran, because he walked right into what he did. Okay, and so if she would have learned how to swim, maybe, I'm not saying definite, maybe could have had a different outcome. I guess we'll never know. I guess we'll never know. And so, but it's very powerful lesson message. Okay, so I've covered that. So this is very intriguing, though. This is very intriguing. So let's go and talk about it. So I don't want to take too long. Talk. I definitely want to flip cards, but just to educate you. So basically, going back on the night. Let's go ahead and talk about the night. Let's get to that and stuff. But no, maybe let me step back. So she had been married to Robert Wagner in past, when they were both very young. Apparently Hollywood kind of put them together. That's what they did back in the day. Let's put two and two together, kind of go out, go take photos, just that. But they did actually fall in love. They kind of were paired together, but they fell in love. And she definitely dated some people, even Elvis. And so, everybody's, always trying to do that. Because when you put a power couple together, a celebrity couple, it gets a lot of attention, sells a lot of magazines and all kinds of stuff and everything. So basically, here we go. So she did marry him. It apparently wasn't an easy marriage. There may be a little rumors that she even maybe had a physical altercation with him once, because there was a little something in one of the documentaries. She ran to a house and everything. She was let in. They had a fight, stuff like this. He comes to the door. The guy says, "Hey, she's okay," and he kind of ran off, and and everything. So they had definitely a tough relationship. And so anyway, but the reason she divorced, now when she divorced, she did not, she's never said it herself, but her sister said it. But she ended up getting divorced and everything like that, and apparently was pretty hush-hush the reason and stuff. But apparently the sister, Lana Wood, her sister, said that apparently Robert Wagner had an affair with a man. Okay, which apparently somebody on the staff, he had been having an affair with a man for a while. So we could definitely see, and that something like that could be very shocking. Except one, your husband is cheating, but then this could be very difficult. So this definitely took her to a position where she started getting with some prescription drugs, sedatives, and things like that. Those things can happen in Hollywood. And divorced her sometime, went through dating, and there was another marriage, and things like that. But then, apparently, for whatever reason, she ended up getting back with Robert Wagner, and she remarried him. And apparently the sister, not happy about it. The sister was not happy. And there is a statement that she made, which I wish I could find here and stuff. Maybe I can look it up, but let me see if I can find this, because this statement is actually important. Natalie Wood, Robert Wagner, and the Devil Quote.
Here are some pictures that match.
Okay, okay. There it is. The quote she gave to her sister Lana, as far as coming back and that she was going to marry, because when she said she was going to marry him, Lana was very upset. Okay, as she said, as she is quoted, "Sometimes the devil you know is better than the devil you don't know." Okay, that is, and that quote has definitely been a big quote when it's come to this relationship and certain things that went on the boat, which was Splendor. The name of the boat they were on, the yacht, was a Splendor, which is named after one of her movies, I believe, Splendor of the Grass. So anyway, so we'll kind of go back to that night. So, and that was, let's see, it was, so November 28, going into November 29, 1981. So now, she's older, she's 43, and stuff, still beautiful, still young. Yeah, she's really still young, in so many ways, but, she's getting a little older and things like that. And Robert Wagner, he's doing the heart-to-heart. I don't know if anybody from the 80s remembers that, but he was doing a heart-to-heart. He was doing pretty good. So they're kind of coming together and everything. She's filming this movie, Brainstorm, with Christopher Walken, who is a young actor, which he's an old guy now and stuff. And he's always been a character. He was a little bit different than characters we see him as now and stuff. A little softer, gentler, nice looking man. He was a good looking man back then and everything. And apparently Natalie Wood and Christopher Walken developed a pretty good friendship. They obviously had some kind of special connection. And I know there's all kinds of rumors where they have an affair, where they this. I don't know. It may come up in the cards or not. But so far, I do not know. I do not know if that's what happened. But definitely, Robert Wagner was a jealous type of person. And apparently, he was jealous of the connection. Okay, so I guess I do have to kind of tell the story before I get to it. But apparently, so the night they go on the boat, there's all kind of mystery there. So basically, it's Christopher Walken, Robert Wagner, Natalie Wood, and then the captain who, or like the person of the boat. God, I'm gonna have to find him. Hold on, let me get the Wikipedia. Natalie Wood Wikipedia because he's important. Okay. Let me see if I can find his name in here because I want to get all the cast of characters and stuff. Hold on. Okay, later career. Yep, let's talk about the death. Okay. Yep. Okay, so this happened. They were going for a weekend boat trip, Santa Catalina Island. They've been out there many times, and apparently they had good times there. So this is a place to kind of go in, have good times, and a big old motor yacht Splendor. I believe it still exists, and stuff, and so forth. And so, where's, okay, Dennis Davern. Okay, he's the guy who's he's the captain of the boat. He's the captain of the boat. Now, there's all kinds of stories where this gets very tricky, and hopefully this talks about it so I can clarify it to you. So, there's various stories. Robert Wagner, he did recently, not too long ago, after they reopened the case and labeled him as a person of interest, strangely in 2011. They did this, and they even did a thing on TV. This is a big thing. This is a big thing in Hollywood, this case, okay? But basically, there's all kind of different things. Now, one of the things that Dennis Davern says is that, everybody was definitely drinking that night. And Natalie Wood definitely had a pretty high, I think a 0.14 alcohol level in her system when they pulled her out of the water, and did the autopsy and everything. She also, I want to note, had a full bladder apparently. Okay, so, say if if you did get in a physical altercation or something like that, or somebody's trying to kill you or something like that, one of the things people may do, they may urinate, they may freak out, panic, that they may do something like that. Things like that can happen. Okay, but apparently it's just something to note. It's pretty important fact. She had a full bladder. Okay, she had a nightgown on, no bra, no underwear, and she had a coat and some wool socks. So, and that's important too. That's very important, the way she was dressed. You got to think this is a movie star. This is somebody who, if she's going to be on camera, she does not want to be caught looking rough. Okay, and stuff, especially like that. This is a classy Hollywood actress. Okay. So anyway, so they recover the body, but there's all kind of stories here. But pretty much Davern, in the original, when the police come to question, okay, so she's pulled out of the water, everything, they know she's deceased. Robert Wagner gives his kind of versions of the events. He basically says, she went to bed and everything. He kind of went in. Now, in the bedroom, there's also a door that leads to the back of the boat and the dinghy, all that stuff, right? Nowhere to be found. Where's Natalie Wood? Where's Natalie? And stuff, I don't know, right? They're apparently like that. So this is kind of, Robert Wagner's. And he apparently made some kind of comment because apparently the dinghy was gone. Maybe she went in the dinghy. Maybe she went out on land. Maybe she wanted to go somewhere, hang out. But didn't she have a nightgown on and wool socks? If she's a star, and he had seen her right before she supposedly went to bed, that would be very strange and highly unlikely, right? Okay, so that's kind of a weird thing to say. There's a lot of weird things with this, but basically, Davern, at the time when questioned, the captain of the boat, Christopher Walken, he's already in bed. We'll get to this in a minute. Davern originally stated, that Wood and Wagner, they did have an argument, Wagner's dying, but he didn't really go into detail. He kept very quiet for years, about stuff. And now he's recently come out over the years and said there's a little bit more to it than that. Now I want to talk. Okay. So apparently his kind of side of the situation is that Robert Wagner, Natalie Wood, they've been kind of fighting that weekend. I saw, but apparently, Rob Wagner was kind of jealous, about her and Christopher Walken. Even they had gone, onto land and everything. It was just her, Christopher Walken, kind of hanging out. They're at this one place, having drinks, having a good time, being friendly. And then Robert Wagner kind of shows up. He may have thrown a glass when he was there. Things started getting there was a little kerfuffle, and even people that kind of work there, hey, these guys, we got some Hollywood stars, but they're starting to get a little out of hand. They're arguing, so there were some things happening even on land. But apparently when they're all in the boat. So you think you got four people kind of in a small place, right? It's still a nice boat, but still in a space here. And you know what? I've never understood exactly, which we'll kind of figure out, why she brought Christopher Walken if this is a jealous person. It's kind of a strange situation, but obviously they have some kind of friendship. But, apparently Davern, what he's saying is that Robert Wagner, confronted Christopher Walken, and she's kind of there. Are you trying to my wife? Okay, and stuff and everything. They're having this kind of argument, and then he took a wine bottle and he smashes it on a table, right? Okay, so now Robert Wagner does say he smashed the bottle, but he says his argument was a little bit different situation. Okay, but this is what Davern is saying, which actually may be more likely true than maybe some of the things that Robert Wagner's kind of saying. We just had a disagreement about something versus him, Natalie Wood, and all this stuff. But some jealousy probably was there. He's kind of an older guy. They're having a good connection. He's a nice-looking actor and everything. They're close. They're being chummy. They were just out, hanging out together, with a relation, at a restaurant having drinks. You can see this could be a problem. Okay, we could definitely have a little bit of a problem. But apparently, I kind of believe in Davern's side, that Robert Wagner was probably getting jealous, and this is the reason he smashes the wine. Okay, so anyway, for whatever reason, right there in that moment, Christopher Walken's like, I'm out of here. And he goes into his little cabin, stays in there. He pretty much stays in there. And that's why a lot of people, because the captain, even Robert Wagner, and various have said he pretty much stayed in his room. And he might not know a whole lot. I know a lot of people said he knows the truth. There's a lot of people that believe that Christopher Walken knows, but he may not necessarily know what happened exactly and stuff. He might not, but apparently I can certainly understand the man wanting to get out of Dodge and get out of the wrath of that situation. Okay, he's not, he's a younger, I think he might have been maybe 20s, maybe 30, some kind of age there. He's kind of a younger actor, and there's this older, it's a person who's pretty heated about his wife. Okay. So anyway, then here we go. So apparently Robert Wagner and Natalie, they go into the room and stuff, and the captain kind of goes into their area. I think he might have cleaned up some of the mess, and that he could hear them. They were definitely arguing. And stuff, okay? And stuff. So he kind of goes in his thing, turns up the music, but he can still hear things. Okay? And I think there was a point he maybe checked on, knocked on the door, hey, what's going on? When they're arguing, and Robert Wagner apparently says, go away. Okay, so he kind of goes back, okay. But then everything gets quiet. And that's what the captain is saying. And then he kind of goes, Robert Wagner, and he's kind of in the doorway standing there, and he says, I don't know where Natalie is. She's gone. Okay. So this is when the captain's like, okay, we're out in the water. We're out in this and that. It's about 11:30 at night, something like that. Okay. And then he's like, okay, well, we need to call someone. She could be injured. She could be this, that. And then apparently Robert Wagner was like, no, don't call. No, we don't want to do that. Well, let's at least turn on the lights. Let's get the lights. Let's get the lights on the water. No, don't do that. It's like he didn't want a bunch of attention. That's what he's kind of implying here. So apparently these guys stop and for some reason have a drink, okay, and stuff. And I feel like the captain maybe didn't know what to do. He may have felt a little intimidated. Remember, this is like a Hollywood guy. This is a guy who pays his paycheck. He's a little, I don't know what to do with this. These guys have been fighting. It's been very dramatic. He's probably a little, scared about stuff, whatever. But then finally, after about, I believe it gets to about 1 a.m, and about 1 a.m. This is when they finally call for help and everything. And shortly after, they find her in the water as she is drowned. So this is a little bit of the mystery here. Okay. And so, and apparently, Robert Wagner kind of gives the story. She kind of disappeared. The dinghy apparently was gone. And so it's several things here. Several things here we can unpack, and we're going to check the tarot. Okay, one, we know she has a fear of water, especially dark water. We know it's nighttime, and we know that that water is going to look dark. Okay, we know that there was most likely some jealousy. It's just, the guy's already kind of a jealous person, but we gotta, at his time, Christopher Walken was a nice looking man. These two are developing a friendship. Now, if it was going above and beyond, I'm not sure yet, but they definitely had some kind of connection. Okay, that they got along very well. They were working together on a movie and a project and things like that. And I definitely feel that they cared about each other. There was something there. As a matter of fact, when Natalie Wood, when Chris Walken comes out, and there's this fighting, and Natalie Wood, and they find she's passed, apparently he was in tears. He was in tears. He was beside himself, okay, after, this event. So the majority of people, with the exception of maybe a few, do not believe that Crystal Walken had anything to do with her passing. Okay, he wasn't the one angry with her that night. He wasn't fighting with her that night, and things like that. They pretty much feel like, no, this isn't the guy to look at. Okay, and he apparently, the captain confirmed, he was pretty much in there all night until later comes out, finds out what happened and everything, and then he's just completely beside himself in tears. Okay, so now there is another thing that kind of came out is a couple of witnesses that apparently this had not happened before. And maybe this is why they just ruled it drowning, wrapped it all up. Okay? Is that apparently there's a couple of witnesses who were on a boat not very far away. What they are saying, what they have now added to the story, which is added to the mystery, is they heard a woman crying for help, help, help. And it sounded like she was in the water. But then there's this voice, and there's this male voice, which pretty much most of the documentaries have been kind of confirming. Everybody's saying that was kind of almost sarcastic to the voice, to the person, a male voice saying, yeah, we're going to get help for you. Yep, we'll be there soon. Yep, we'll be there. Okay, something like that to that effect, but they heard a male voice kind of being like that, almost maybe mocking in some way, and then inevitably all that got quiet. And apparently when they were on the boat, should we do something, this, that? Maybe we shouldn't get involved in that. These people probably just didn't know what to do. Sometimes, have you ever, I don't know if you've ever lived somewhere, either in an apartment complex or, a home where you might have heard a domestic thing and you're like, should I get involved? Should I make a phone call? You might not know what to do. Okay, sometimes people, so let's not necessarily fault those people. Maybe they were one of those in that position. I don't know what to do. Like, I remember being a kid, my mom was at work, I was a teenager, and stuff. And the people above me were going at it. I just, in the apartment, she had left for work in the morning, so it was in the morning. And these people were fighting like crazy. I'm terrified. Do I call the police? What do I do? I don't want them coming to me. If I call the police and coming after me, what do I do? So I call my mom crying, Mom, these people are fighting upstairs. I didn't know what to do. So my mom even came home from work. She was checking on me and stuff like that. I think maybe she did tell me call police. I don't remember. I think I did. But she even came home from work. I was so traumatized because I was hearing these people fighting, like real bad fighting. And I wasn't sure if the woman was getting beat up. I was hearing a lot of banging. The guy's screaming. She's crying and stuff. So you can imagine, just to give an example, if you hear something, like that, sometimes people don't know how to respond. It shakes them. It scares them. And some people will get on the phone, get the police help. And some people are like, should we get in? I don't know what to do. So they're not trying to be, that they don't care. Sometimes people just don't know how to handle that. Okay. So we know and that they heard this. So they kind of came out, with this kind of story situation. Okay. That they heard this. Okay. So, and I believe there may have been some things, even with the autopsy, she may not have had water in her lungs, which is another thing. So maybe she was put in the water, already passed. And so another thing, there's so much to unpack. There were bruises on the body. Apparently some pretty heavy bruises, scratch on the forehead, some things like that, mark on the face, bruises on the body. And so a few things people are kind of wondering about it. The doctor who did the autopsy said maybe hit the water, fell off the boat, bumped a few things on the way. That's how it got bruises. But there's a lot of bruises and scratches on face and things like that. Okay, and we know there was a fight altercation pretty much they knew that. Even Robert Wagner had to admit, yeah, we had an argument. I said, but I feel like he kind of made it. So I think she just wanted to get out of the way, took the dinghy, went off, things like that. And one of the things he also did say was that, maybe what she did is she was kind of annoyed with the dinghy, was trying to tie it up, because apparently when it would bang on the boat, make a lot of noise, which would irritate her. But we also know she's afraid of dark water. Maybe you'd rather deal with the noise of the dinghy than go out there and be messing with it, especially because the area was kind of slippery, which even Christopher Walken said there was this kind of slide thing in that area was kind of slippery. Okay, and then she's already had a lot to drink and things like that. Are you really conscientious? Oh, let me go deal with that dinghy when you just had a fight with somebody and, maybe a real loud screaming match. And then you've had a lot to drink. Everybody's had a lot to drink. It's just kind of a weird thing to do. But even I want to get away from him. I don't want to deal with him. I'm going to get in the dinghy and go in the water. We know she's terrified of water. So that's really weird. There's a whole lot of mystery here, guys. Okay. So, but anyway, so one of the things that they have done, they reopened the case. Okay. And then also a labeled, person of interest. And also January 14, 2013, they did an addendum even to her death certificate, autopsy report and things like that. And before it was kind of drowning, but there's this kind of drowning with some weird circumstances, however they kind of put it and everything. So there's various things that they've definitely done some amendments that it ain't just a straight drowning. It ain't just a straight accident and stuff. So even unexplained fresh bruising on her right forearm, left wrist, right knee, scratch on her neck, a superficial scrape on her forehead, and things like that. And then now some people are saying maybe she was assaulted before she was drowned. And then was she unconscious when she went into the water? Or was she pushed into the water? Was this anger? So was this, here we go. I had to get it for, especially people who don't know the story. There's a lot to unpack here. Did something happen? She's been drinking, this, that. Maybe he did leave her alone. Maybe he walked out of the room, cool off, whatever. And she fell in and had an accident and stuff, and everything. Or did something happen where, she got pushed and put into the water? That's what we're going to look at and stuff. And that's what we're going to check on the mystery. I also want to say before I start flipping, because we're about to do it, and that the children, the daughters of Natalie Wood, which, they pretty, I believe there's one bio and one stepdad. They pretty much believe Robert Wagner is innocent. However, we do know there are many cases of children, who there could be evidence against one parent. And they will still support that parent because to believe it, and they also see another side of the parent that maybe others don't see. Maybe they see another side of the parent that the parents, other than what the other parent saw, okay? But it can be very hard for children, to believe, especially when you love someone, you trust someone, to be able to believe that is a real hard thing to do, that they could have done that to their mother. Okay, and stuff. So there's a lot there. Now, even if I just tune into spirit and stuff like that, could this maybe, if, and I'm not there yet, if this was a put in the water, fight put in the water, I would definitely feel, I would not feel this is a planned thing at all. I will tell you that right now. Nothing about this kind of situation is planned. Okay, except if this was going to be a planned thing and stuff, it wouldn't go this way. If this was a put into the water type of situation, thrown into the water, however it may be, when I start tuning in and stuff, this was not a plan. Okay, and even apparently the sister who wrote the book and believes Robert Wagner is responsible. She does not feel this was any kind of premeditated, even wanted to do this. That this could have been more of a reactive type of passion, flipped out, everybody's drinking, lost mind, lost heads situation, or it could be an accident. Let's go ahead and check it out. Let's get to it. I know you want to know what the cards say. And so I had a crystal kind of sitting up here to kind of check in. right here. It's been sitting on the deck the whole time. And, you know, especially kind of connect, maybe a little bit of Natalie Wood's kind of spirited energy. I've chosen my Russian deck here and stuff. So this is a very good deck. Let's kind of, now very interesting, as I'm just beginning, this is a powerful deck. The Ten of Cups is the bottom card. I'm going to pull that as a shadow card, and there is a reason why. One, because Spirit, it has it at the bottom of the deck before I even begin, but I want to talk about it. Ten of Cups. One of the things about Ten of Cups, we know that. Beautiful, happy home life. Beautiful people. Beautiful children. Love, you know, and everything. A very appearances, you know, card is what it's about and stuff. And for those who know the tarot, Ten of Cups, we got the couple, we got the children, everybody's dancing, happy, beautiful, the rainbow, the cups. It's wonderful. Everything. It's a Norman Rockwell picture of a family. Okay, but, and I was just talking about this in tarot class. This is the tough part with the Ten of Cups card. It's got a little bit of a shadow side. It's a very appearances kind of card. Everything has to be perfect. Everything has to be perfect, especially for others to see. But behind closed doors, is it perfect? Is it what it seems? Okay, so we can definitely look into the story in the case of Natalie Wood, especially with this marriage, especially with some things that have been kind of revealed even by the sister, like the first marriage, the affair with a man. You know, it was, you know, is Robert Wagner, is he technically homosexual, but he's married Natalie Wood? Does he love Natalie Wood? Or was he trying to, you know, have this, remember, Hollywood put them together to be like this power couple and things. Though there probably was, you know, some kind of a love relationship, but maybe it's just his preference. There's a whole lot of drama even just with that alone, right? But apparently he must have something, because apparently he was kind of jealous, okay? So there's some things there to unpack, but appearances. A lot of celebrities can be like this and stuff. It's important, an image and vision for the public to see that all is well in the universe, that we are happy, that we love each other. We have beautiful pictures of Robert Wagner and Natalie Wood together, hugging. You know, she definitely, you know, having beautiful photos of them together, looking like they're in love, seems to be very important to her. Beautiful family photos with the children. You know, she definitely having a beautiful family. This is definitely something she wanted, but appearances were very important. You know, and that's why, just like, remember the divorce, she didn't let this stuff come out about why they got divorced. She didn't want that. Appearances are very important. Okay, and we can definitely see that for someone Hollywood like Natalie Wood. Okay, so Ten of Cups, the shadow card. There we go. Let's shuffle. And this is a very long deck, so it's going to be hard to shuffle. Okay, get it in. It's a lot of heavy energy there, but yet there's a lot of spirit energy too. But there is definitely a mystery here, and I'm very curious what Spirit has to say. And like I said, I'm going to use the Russian deck to kind of tune into her spirit. There's almost a strange magical thing about this. And of course, we want to look at, you know, who did it, okay, if I could even get the answer. You know, is he guilty, you know, and stuff. Is it even possible? Now, you know, but I'll tell you the odds of, you know, Robert Wagner ever being charged and everything, I don't know, guys. We'll have to see if it goes possible. The man is in his 90s now. Okay, he's an old man. He's just an old man at this point. Okay, and God knows what he knows. Okay, and what he's living with, and I'm going to find out. I'm going to do my best to find out for you. And stuff. But if he has to go to the grave with this, wow, can you imagine? And like I said, he may not be like this ruthless, terrible person, but apparently, you know, and stuff. You know, and there has been, you know, things about maybe people don't talk, threatening little notes over the years. Maybe people who may have had something to say that are just starting to step forward, that were afraid to step forward a long time ago. Okay, so there's little stuff like that. But I have a feeling this captain was fearful at one time, and that's why he didn't say much. And now he's starting to come out, and he's got a lot to say. And of course, he's not saying that this guy confessed. He didn't say Robert Wagner confessed, but he has a lot of suspicions that this was not an accident. And even the captain knew that she was terrified of water, which is so there. It's almost bizarre that they had a boat. She liked to be on boats apparently, but she just being in the water was just not her thing. I mean, even to the point this was someone who, when she was younger, feared washing her hair. She was afraid of that. Think about that. The power of a read. Know thyself. And this is why I try to let tarot readers know, be careful what you say. You always got to be careful what you say. That's something I'm very well aware of. Okay, so we got that. The shadow card being the Ten of Cups. Appearances, appearances. What is the opposing card? The opposing to that beautiful dream of celebrity and happy family, emotional, all it together. What is the opposing card? Knight of Cups in the reverse position. Okay, let me do a shift. I'm getting sore. I've been in the chair for a while today. Now, it's real important. I may have to stop, focus on the art. The art is very important in this deck. I definitely got a cup card here. But the Knight of Cups also, one of the things about it, it can be about certain wishes coming true and things like that. It can be very much an accomplishment type of card. So one of the things we could kind of look at that, definitely Natalie would accomplish many things in her life. But there was definitely always something missing. Notice we have a 10, but the opposing is a 9 and stuff. So there's still very much a sadness. She'd accomplished quite a bit, being a star, Hollywood, this and that, but there was always something missing, definitely. And really having a good love connection, love relationship. This is a real hard one. Obviously, we know she had to love him, but why go back to him if you feel he's the devil? That maybe it's better the devil you know than the devil you don't know and stuff. So I almost feel like she just never really quite got what she wished for when it came to certain love and relationships, and things like that. This was a very hard part, that's one thing that she always kind of wished for, that she never was able to quite get, even though she accomplished so much. And stuff. But I feel also, be careful what you wish for. Obviously, she was still hoping when she did this remarriage that maybe it would be different. Okay, that's definitely a message coming through. I'll marry him again. Maybe it'll be different this time. Maybe a second time around will be a good way. Be careful what you wish for. Okay, so much right there alone. Now we go. Ooh, it's very quiet in here. Let's see what we got there. Eight of Wands. Now, you got to really kind of pay attention to the art. This is a different deck. I'm dealing with my Russian deck. Eight of Wands can be very swift, fast, kind of energetic, kind of moving card. So I kind of look at this, all this kind of chaotic kind of energy here and stuff. So one of the things that just kind of makes me feel with that and everything, and even just kind of look at the bottom, see how the man's kind of in this woman's face, and she's kind of trying to push him away and stuff like that. This kind of weird thing, this is also the relationship. Maybe here we're kind of together here, push away, get away from me. Maybe this is where it kind of came to, okay, and stuff. Just get away from me. I just somebody in your face arguing with you and stuff like that. Just get away. I don't want to deal with this. That kind of stuff. A little bit of that kind of energy. We've even got the grapes that are kind of in there. Now, one of the things here, notice, see the grapes in there, all that growth grapes and stuff, kind of indulgent. One of the things they were doing, they had a lot of wine that night. There was a whole lot of wine, and we got a wine bottle broken on the table. Okay, so we have this kind of strange thing and stuff. But there's also even looking at the progression of this, kind of youthful people, kind of going midlife, and everything, older energies, this kind of growth of being young, and kind of where they were, in their ages and stuff. A little bit of that energy. But yet all this kind of goes so very fast and swift. And then here we are, okay? And stuff. But we definitely, I got this towards the end. I'm pushing this person away. And he's up in my face kind of energy with that Eight of Wands and stuff. All this stuff happened very fast this night. With it, what's going on? There's an argument. There's this, that. She's gone, the swiftness of the Eight of Wands. Okay. Like I said, you got to pay attention, focus on these details. There's a lot of detail in this deck. Eight of Swords. Oh, boy. A couple things here. Now, one of the things when we interpret the Eight of Swords, now notice it's a man, okay, surrounded by the swords. And it looks like, we got kind of a little bit, he kind of almost looks like a little bit of a judge and everything there, because he's also got a gavel and everything, certain things there. We've also got the owls, and the owls see all, right? They're very observant, especially nocturnal at night. But this person is surrounded by the swords. So one of the things on the table definitely is possible jail, imprisoning. People are looking at this case there, okay, about if this is murder, this, that, there. The investigation is right now even ongoing. It's been going on for a long time, but reopened and active. It's like they say, it's an active case. And so definitely looking at, it looks like they're looking at ways to maybe arrest someone, right? Okay, because you got the Eight of Swords here, which can be, and you can see this person kind of going down. He's just done, right? With that kind of situation. We got a little threat there, because in this particular card, it looks like we got a little judge. He's got his little gavel there ready to judge. He's got a paper, he's got a gavel, and he's got a finger, okay, that he's kind of pointing out some things here, except for what's going on. So this person being held accountable. This is definitely something. There are a lot of people who believe that Natalie Wood did not pass an accident. Remember, I'm not done. I'm just beginning, right? Notice I have 2 8s here. Notice I have 2 8s sitting there. Except we got the Eight of Wands, swift action, something that happened in the past. Kind of I've got this woman kind of pushing away this person in my face. All this stuff. We've kind of gone through this long history. We've got little bits of the grapes, the wine, the drinking, the indulgences. Try to go have a good time, but everything gets negative towards the end. Like, it looks like these people are having fun in the beginning, of this card, like fun, and then nope, it doesn't look very good down here. Okay, and then we got, this is where we're coming, the other 8. What could transpire, with this situation if Robert Wagner lives long enough, is they're definitely looking at putting some of this evidence to do a charge. That's what a lot of people want to know, but definitely, will this happen? This is sitting at the foundation as a possibility. What kind of overlaps all of that? There we go. 3 of Wands in the reverse position. Now, this is very interesting. Who knows my 3 of Wands? Okay, for those who know my 3 of Wands. Now, the 3 of Wands in the Rider-Waite doesn't show it as clearly. Okay, but the 3 of Wands in most depictions and in other tarot decks clearly show what in the image? A ship. There is a 3 of Wands, the guy kind of standing there, and so forth, kind of looking, and then we've got a ship. Sometimes it's a woman. Sometimes it's a woman that is standing there with the 3 of Wands, and there is a ship. Very interesting. The Splendor. Okay, now this one, let me see. If there's a ship, there's a ship. And this one is kind of very interesting, because there's this kind of, remember, it's the Russian deck, and stuff. So they're kind of like building, and so forth. So this is a little bit different. I'm going to have a twofold message here. A twofold message with this. Because the 3 of Wands is kind of like, my moment arrives, ship comes in, this is that. That's the message. We know a lot of this involves things that happen on a ship. Perfect. We've got one meaning. We can pull that from the Rider-Waite. But I'm also dealing with the Russian deck, which if you kind of look, it looks like these people are kind of building. Okay? They've got a goal in mind to get to a moment. Except they're kind of climbing up this. They're dealing with maybe a mountain of evidence and building a case. Okay? So we got a twofold meaning. One, I'm very well aware that in the tarot, very often there is a ship in the background. And with the Rider-Waite, if you're like, where are ships in the Rider-Waite? They're very small. You got to really look. There's like little ships and stuff. And that's what the character of the 3 Wands, he's looking at. My ship comes in, moment arrives, I'm getting on that ship. Okay? And stuff. That's kind of one of the messages. But yes, in other tarot depictions, you will clearly see a good-sized ship there that person is meant to get on, and so forth. But now we've got also a shadowy kind of energy that I'm reading from this one, building a case, trying to get to the top and everything. Very interesting. Now let's go to the past. This is very important. What do we get in the past? I'm going to turn the deck. Spirit says turn it. What's happening here? Okay, they do want to turn it. Okay, so we've got the 4 of Wands. So 4 of Wands, one of the things they did, it can sometimes be a symbol of marriage. They did remarry, and definitely one of the things that Natalie Wood, she wanted that stability, family, marriage, we did that. So in the past, I do a remarriage. Okay, now let's put a clarifier next to that and everything. What's the kind of tune in there? I definitely, have a good times partying. There's celebrities, lived a good life. She obviously wanted a partner. And then we've got that chariot energy. And that is about, she wanted to go forward successfully and everything like that. The second time will be better. The second time will be better. We're older, we're more mature, we kind of know what we want, we must still love each other. Maybe it'll be good. Maybe it'll be good. Okay, so I definitely feel some optimism. That's at the bottom of the past, okay, and stuff that we were kind of looking at that. Now remember, don't forget, what did I say her sign is? Cancer. What is a chariot? The Cancer. Okay, in the major arcana, it's the Cancer card. Okay, very interesting. So we got a lot of her spirit, but oh my God, here we go in the past position. What do we got? The Falling Tower. The Falling Tower. Very tragic, abrupt. Is it an accident? Because now a couple things here. With the tower energy, could be accidental, chaotic, but also could be violent and stuff there. So we always got to look at, is it accidental or is it a cause of violence? One of the things we definitely know and stuff is the spirit is normally striking lightning on the tower. Another thing we know, what card rules the tower? Mars. Okay, the Mars energy of violence and stuff. So one of the things I could kind of, assume here as I'm kind of tuning in here, one of the things we definitely know ruled an accident. And I will also say that ultimately accidental is true in the sense that, and I'm not there yet, if Robert Wagner pushed her off this boat, got pissed off, whatever. Like I said, they had a lot to drink, heat of the moment. I don't feel intentional, but maybe flipped out, violent, quick, abrupt, bam, tower energy. Okay, so I don't feel premeditated, intentional, but something flip out moment here. And then the people falling off the tower. Notice in this tower, I am doing a read for Natalie Wood. 2 people fall off the tower though, don't they? Okay, and so we know Natalie Wood obviously fell off the boat. The Falling Tower, she fell in the water somehow, right? Okay, and but was she pushed? There is a second person in the tower card. I do have to take note of that and so forth. Let's look at the imagery. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. I am dealing with the Russian deck. This is interesting because in this particular one, we have one person already at the bottom. Okay, so, oh man, I wish it's going to be hard for you to see. There is a person already at the bottom of the tower. They're right there. I know it's hard to see. That's why you got to pay attention to details with certain decks. Now I have a falling. Now I have a strike. Wait a minute. So Spirit saying something here that's even deeper. Okay, because this is Spirit, the lightning, Spirit. Okay, this could be some karma here. Okay, so one of the things, we've got the body already down. So wait a minute, is some of this, there is a tower moment coming, possibly from Robert Wagner, his falling moment. He's been kind of safe in the tower for a while himself. Are we even going to possibly have 2 tower moments here because of his actions? He's been safe in the tower, he hasn't been put into jail, he hasn't been arrested all this time. And from what I understand, he had his moment, gave his story, but people, the cops have been trying to talk to him multiple times ever since that night. He will not speak to them. He claims to have cooperated. But pretty much from what I understand, after that night, no talkie. Reopened the case. They have asked him, come in. We have questions. No talkie. Apparently they can't just yet force him to come and talk and everything. No talkie. Okay, but this is a very interesting thing where normally the tower in tarot decks, the 2 people are kind of falling at the same time. But in this one, it looks like, just if I understand the nature of gravity here, one has hit the ground, but one is falling later after a strike. Could this be the strike of Spirit and karma? Okay, so that's very interesting. Mars energy. Okay, lot to unpack right there. Okay, a lot to unpack. Very interesting. So it's kind of feeling there. Okay, there's a violent moment here. Okay, but then now Spirit strike, the other one falls. Now I've got the second one falling. So could possibly, even in his lifetime, he be brought, he be brought to justice possibly. Let's go ahead and look at it. And so, because one of the things they did in the past, and also he hasn't fallen yet, he hasn't hit the ground yet, notice, okay? And so they reopened the case, okay, in 2011, okay? Let's go ahead and see what's going on. That's another one. There's a whole lot there. Okay, we got the Five of Cups in the reverse position. So Five of Cups we know is the widower card. It is a loss card. It can be very symbolic of a death and things like that. And definitely that is one of the themes and the message. It is in the reverse position. But sometimes there could be a little bit of even an upside at times to the Five of Cups. Now I have to look at the art in here. So let's kind of look at this. So we've got this kind of person in the bed. I want you to notice that's an old man. That's an old man. Okay? And we've got these people kind of surrounding, with the cups. Robert Wagner is a pretty old man right now, right? He's kind of an old man. But we got this little guy here who's kind of writing some stuff down. He's writing some stuff down. So wait a minute. I know I'm kind of in some past energy here, but still, this still could be coming. Okay? And stuff. It's not all past energy. This man is in his deathbed. This man is in his deathbed. So this is kind of telling me a couple things. But I've also got this person writing some things down. He's writing some things down and stuff. He's documenting something. So I kind of wonder, as I'm kind of sitting here, potentially, could there potentially, maybe he doesn't go to jail. Maybe he doesn't go to jail. Maybe he never gets to see, a jail cell. But could there possibly be a deathbed confession? A moment of regret? A moment where before, he meets his maker, there is an actual confession to something. Because apparently this man on this deathbed here, remember, he's, the widower card, the death and everything like that. Could he potentially give a confession and stuff? Written even. Could that possibly happen? This is a very, very interesting case. Maybe this is somebody who wants to redeem themselves, okay, who wants to clear their conscience before they meet their maker. I'm sorry, please forgive me. Possibly. There could be a little something there because it's very interesting. I've got an old man. I know he's in his 90s. He's not going to live forever. What has he got? He's got to have less than 10 years. Okay, he can't, he just, that's the average. If you make it to your 90s, the odds to make it, even Betty White was in great health. She didn't make it to 100. And so, could he confess? Because something's being written down here. Interesting. Possible. So it looks like does he have a reason to confess, especially before he meets his maker? It's looking like I got a little bit of guilty man there. So far, I'm not done. Okay. So, let's see what we got. Oh, there you go. This is what I know what you guys want to know. This is what I know. The Ace of Swords. The truth. This is the big one. It's we've got even all the balance, the yin and yang and stuff. We've got the snake, the knowledge, all that stuff and everything. The Ace of Swords, the truth. So the one thing about it makes me feel that, the police and things like that, one day we will know the truth, at least as close as we possibly can. Now, does it mean in the sense, what I should kind of say here is that, will everybody believe it, this, that, but actually there are facts and things I feel, remember, they're building a case, okay, they're looking at charges, but like I said, the odds really here, being able to put him in jail before, he hits that deathbed, I don't know, it's kind of sketchy, okay, I'm not sure. Okay, it's difficult to predict, but I definitely feel maybe there is a guilty conscience there that maybe he does a confession. Maybe before he goes, he just says, hey, at least to somebody makes a confession. The Ace of Swords, the truth. And stuff. So it looks like the truth will come out for us to see one day. And stuff that we got something. There's people, and I feel there's still some other people that maybe know something that have not even spoken yet, but they will. But in this case, it looks like will be solved. Especially with the Ace of Swords is there. I know the case will be solved. But also, even as I'm doing this reading and stuff, even for me and you guys watching, Spirit wants to get the truth on this read. Ace of Swords is about the truth. Oh, there's a card sticking up. What is it? What is it? I always pay attention to those, right? What is it? Queen of Wands. The Queen of Wands energy. Stuff. So actually, remember what I said. Natalie Wood is a Cancer. We got the Chariot here, the Cancer card, right? But remember, her first house was probably colored with some Leo. She was on the cusp there. Now, one of the things, passionate, fiery energy, beautiful, powerful. She was definitely powerful in Hollywood and things like that. We definitely when we remember her and look at her, energy and everything, and we see that very creative, skilled actress and so forth. Just absolute beautiful. And we've got this beautiful energy here and stuff, and just magical. The characters she could play and everything, so versatile, so different. Just like Maria in West Side Story and stuff in which she played Gypsy Rose Lee. Just all her various characters that she did, very romantic and passionate. So a lot, of course, everything centers around this woman, and I feel really loved. And I feel people have a lot of empathy. A lot of empathy for her situation and everything. She is still lots of powerful and everything she was, and stuff, but even fragile, still a fragility there and everything. Let's kind of look at that. Let's look at the Four of Swords energy popping up in there. So that can be kind of the rest, the meditation and everything, hailing from the Three of Swords tragedy. But let's kind of look at this, what we've got here and stuff. So we've got this energy. Yeah, and I feel like some people are kind of lying in wait, ready to kind of say something, get a message out there. And one of the things we kind of look at, this is a very different Four of Swords. Look at that energy there. God, it almost looks like a Jesus, doesn't it? It almost looks like a Jesus, a prophet in the making, and so forth. So one of the things I kind of look at that is, there are people that have, messages, and this is kind of a long time coming, that maybe people that have been kind of laid in wait, and stuff, have really kind of been thought about whether, they should speak up. I almost wonder, as I kind of tune into that, could it be maybe a little bit reference to Christopher Walken? Being that kind of person and stuff, that's just kind of maybe sitting there. He's been very quiet and everything over the years and stuff. Could he possibly have something more to say? Though he's really not wanted to talk about it over the years. But notice he's got that kind of tent. It's kind of quiet. He's quite staying away from all this stuff and everything. But God, there's something he's kind of looking up in the spirit. Maybe I should say something, because it kind of makes you wonder. It kind of makes you wonder a little bit. I just get a little Christopher Walken vibe when I look at that male character and stuff. So let's kind of look at a couple things here. There's so much I want to look at. Which direction should I go? Let's kind of look at Natalie Wood that night. Where was she at? We're going to focus on her energy first. So this is her at that moment, at that night, feelings, emotion, any kind of feeling danger, any kind of this, that. What do we get here and stuff? What do we got? Okay, so we've got that Four of Cups energy there. So we've got that. Let's go ahead and tune into that. Now, one of the things that can be sometimes is kind of like, you're kind of like this, and the guy's focused down, and somebody's got that hand coming at him and everything. Kind of ignore, right? So this kind of makes me feel we may have been trying to push away this kind of situation and stuff. I also feel definitely like a little, disgruntled. I feel kind of just want to kind of keep to herself kind of energy, and kind of stuff and everything. And I feel even with this situation, maybe like Christopher Walken and maybe the captain, try to maybe talk to her, you doing okay, and just kind of close it off. Okay, so we got a little bit of that energy. Let's kind of go ahead and look at the tune. What else do we got there? 10 of coins in the reverse position and stuff. So here's a 10. We kind of talked about that and everything, and we've got this castle, this stature and everything. Really, I feel a lot of things turned upside down and stuff, kind of going awry and everything. And just, a certain powerlessness. Because we think of a castle, a structure, a safety, and that I kind of look at that not feeling safe and so many different things. So let's kind of look at the Ace of Coins in the reverse position and stuff. So let's look at the art on that one. That one's interesting. Hold on a minute. Ace of Coins reverse. I'm going to tune into this. it's kind of interesting because there's this in the image, when we kind of look at, the coin itself, there's these people. Remember we talked about the grapes, the wine, having good times and this and that, all these kind of people and everything and stuff. We've got even like a little calf above, but we've also got this angel, okay, that's kind of got the blindfold over the eyes and stuff. So, the way it kind of looks, definitely kind of, there's some partying in this coin, okay? They're definitely, they were partying and doing various things and stuff. Now, this woman is kind of, in this kind of image, she's kind of nude, she's kind of, and everything, sharing grapes with this male. Okay, there's kind of this energy. So definitely one of the things we know, Robert Wagner, he's definitely jealous, accusing, or Christopher Walken, Natalie Wood, having this kind of weird thing, and stuff like that. Okay, and stuff. So there's kind of this thing, that they're just kind of indulging, they're being lustful and everything, which, really they were probably just friends. So far, I haven't got that impression and everything with this. But that angel being kind of blinded, he's holding up everything for all to see and so forth, which is kind of very interesting and stuff. So just like certain things, with her, as I'm kind of going to feelings, impression, she was, that night, I feel she's not really, paid attention, focused, really not a lot of focus, to the red flags and the signs. What they notice, this is in red, certain red flags, signs, maybe being in danger, not necessarily realizing certain things that would happen, had no foresight, definitely in this moment of this situation, definitely that it would be your last night and things like that, or did feel, anything like this, Robert Wagner could be fully capable of certain things with this happening, to just, the foresight did not really see, when she's kind of going out there, that things would escalate like that. So I definitely feel one of the things, she did not want to provoke him, that there was never any intent of doing that kind of energy. And so I would like to throw, Spirit's making a call. I got one more. I just got to pull one more on kind of tuning this situation. Whew, 10 of Wands. Tens. Here we go. We start with the 10 and here 2 in a position and stuff. So let's kind of go ahead and look at this energy and stuff. Yep, definitely there's just kind of a build up and everything. I feel, God, when I kind of look at this, here's this path and all these people, just ready to kind of jump out as this person, is coming out. So one of the things, this is a very different 10 of Wands. It can be the oppression card. Okay, one of the things, the oppression card. But, there's this kind of person, and stuff. They look a little bit guarded and all these people ready to jump out and beat them up. Okay, and stuff. So there does seem to be, a certain point where she definitely felt, their physical altercation, and stuff. It looks like we had one, but definitely on the edge. Oh my God, it's coming. Definitely in the danger zone that night. We definitely stepped into a dangerous position, especially if you kind of look at, I've got this, this person, on this donkey, and then just pounce. So I feel definitely we get pounced on, okay, during this night. So we had it got physical. I feel her trying to push away. I don't want to deal with this kind of energy, kind of stuff, being accused, certain things. Oh, you're being lustful, you're being this, that, and everything, and stuff, and then just pounced on. Okay, so there was a physical altercation, and stuff. And I feel her trying to tread, danger zone, this, that. So now let's go to Robert Wagner's card. A 7 of Wands, here we go. We got the 7 of Wands. So now we're looking at the Robert Wagner situation. Where's he at? 7 of Wands can be an aggressive card, a physically aggressive card. Stand up for myself, stand ground is definitely one of these, and it's definitely a physical fight card. It can be definitely a physical fight card. Let's kind of look at the art, kind of what we got there, different things. And we got these kind of different characters, looking at this person and so forth, and everything, which is kind of funny, throwing up a peace symbol and stuff. But we've got these, all these kind of characters that are kind of, looking around, looking at this person, almost like a loudmouth at the top and everything. And one of the things that is said, maybe in the restaurant, there had been a little ruckus, he got a little loud, this, that, and everything. All these people are kind of looking like, what's going on? He got some attention that night. There was definitely some attention and things going on. But yes, the Seven of Wands can also be a physical altercation, a physical fight. The person gets aggressive. For whatever reason, I feel like I got to stand up, stand my ground. Now, one of the things he could have felt, maybe that I got to stand up and say this, you try to come at a woman, you want, F my wife, this, that, and stuff, which I'm kind of surprised that, Christopher Walken didn't get hit that night. He only smashed a bottle. For some reason, he didn't hit him. That is, so far, nobody has said that and stuff. So, but he definitely had to have some rage if he's doing that. And like I said, Robert Wagner, in an interview, he says it for other reasons, so he does admit upset and had a conflict with Christopher Walken, did smash a bottle. He couldn't deny it. There had to be some evidence in the boat that he did. So that's probably why he had to say something. Let's kind of go ahead and see what we got. Okay, so the Six of Cups, that has a lot to do with the past. Tuning into the past kind of energy. Now, remember we talked about, kind of look at this old man on the deathbed, right? We got an old man on the deathbed. Could there be a confession? We got this guy writing some stuff down. Okay, and stuff. So definitely this, when I kind of look at tuning into his position, the artwork is very different, okay, than your traditional Six of Cups. Good times. But definitely, this could be somebody that definitely reminisces of good times and bad times. It's a little bit different and stuff. And we've got all kinds of different kind of symbols and stuff. But we've even got we've got Merlin, the magician, we've got an old man, all kinds of energy. And he's definitely aging, and kind of looks back. So he definitely, this haunts, I feel, is one of the sayings here, is it haunts the past. But I definitely got a physical altercation. I got physical violence here. In her end, even, I feel like I get jumped. Okay, I'm trying to push away. Remember, I've got that energy. I'm trying to push away. I don't want to deal with this. And I got a physical altercation and stuff. What do we got there? There we got the moon. The moon, the mystery, especially of the night, the water, and everything. The dark water, the deception. A deception. He's being deceptive. The moon definitely to obscure, confuse, and can be deceiving. Deception. So definitely he is not complete with the whole story. Definitely we don't have it there. We just don't. We are dealing with deception. And he's closing in on his years. So like I said, he maybe he should get that confession to his maker. You know what I'm saying? Okay, hopes and fears. Let's kind of look at that energy. Seven of Coins in the reverse position. So let's kind of go ahead. Yeah, this is my gambling card, this one, and everything we've got. So I kind of look at this, really, this is kind of an interesting one, because this one, they're putting down cards. It is a little bit of a gambling card, right? But also, what are we reading? Tarot cards. The reader, tarot cards, fortune, this and that. Certain people being fortunate, not, and everything. A lot of fears with that. And definitely Natalie Wood had a lot of fears because of, the fortune that had been told and stuff. So let's kind of go ahead and look in. Remember, I have to interpret just slightly different because of this deck and stuff. Let's kind of go. Eight of Coins. Oh, wow. This is it. Whoa, let me look at this. The yacht. God, there you go. So Eight of Coins in the reverse position. And stuff. And even kind of look at that woman she's got. Remember, Natalie Wood, she has that dark hair, sometimes short, sometimes long. She's got a child and everything. And this person kind of climbing and everything. And the mastering the craft card, the working card. And notice, and what these are really, it looks like what this person is doing in this is various different portraits of this woman holding this child and stuff, which I definitely get a feel they're trying to, spirits trying to say. It's kind of Natalie Wood kind of sitting there, I feel this is a person who loved being a mother, but definitely all the portrayals, the mystery, the way, the views, the many faces that she had, a little bit of that kind of energy is what I'm kind of getting. But just kind of look at that, and we got this artist, kind of the way, she's just an icon. She's just an icon. People still to this day, just really look at her. What is the outcome card? Covered a lot here. Nice up. So, wow. The end card, the Two of Cups. Wow. This is, I just got it right there. Wow. This is a story about a woman and a man, a couple of soulmates. And stuff, the Two of Cups. The Two of Cups. And stuff. We've got this, The sad part, I feel like spirit kind of wants to say, in this, maybe her spirit, I don't know, is that we just wanted the fairy tale. We just wanted love. We just wanted a beautiful life. I feel really just want to say and everything, have a good soulmate love connection. And remember what I said when I got to the Nine of Cups energy. And this was the one thing that she just couldn't quite have in this lifetime, which is, she had the fame. She definitely had, she married, this, that, lots of relationships and everything, but never quite getting that, except, and I almost feel like kind of it kind of falling in the outcome is so many things here and stuff, like it's almost like her spirit's almost saying, this is all I ever wanted. And stuff. I also feel a little bit of her spirit is saying, yes, but I did love this person. Okay, is kind of, I feel that. And I also actually feel, which some of you may be surprised, because like I said, the devil, she called him the devil, and so is that he loved her. That's a crazy thing. Okay, if I'm going to do a straight spirit, like I said, sometimes my view may not be popular, but it's just the way it comes down, especially the way it falls down. These people loved each other, but it is a tragic tale. It is a tragic tale. I do believe they loved each other, and so, but still at the same time, this is what she wanted, and maybe this is what he wanted. Maybe he really did want this too, and stuff. But because of various things that occurred and so forth, it's not what happened. It's not what happened, but it's almost kind of a message of the spirit. These two people really did love each other. Okay, they did, but tragedy struck. When I look at this assessment, so far, okay, this is a pretty heavy duty, like I said, the Ace of Swords, and that's even just one, the truth to come out, but I feel like spirit definitely wants to get the truth, in a message, for anybody who can hear, absolutely. And stuff, that Ace of Swords, trying to get to the truth and stuff. And I know a lot of people want to know the truth and stuff like that. But I almost, when I look at that ending, when I get there, I almost feel her spirit, just the way I've had to feel, just my feels, my tune. She doesn't necessarily want this man punished. And maybe that's why he never really was. Maybe that's why he never really was. Maybe when she crossed over to the other side, I don't want him punished. I don't want him to suffer. And stuff. It was an accident. It was a heated moment, a flip out, an argument out of control. We were drinking this, that, and he got jealous, but maybe he didn't mean it. Maybe he didn't mean to do it, but just it got chaos. It got chaos. Like that. Everything went crazy. We all went crazy. And stuff like that. And there's this tragic tower moment. Definitely felt, in the water situation. I do note it is called the falling tower. I do have to note that. And stuff. So a couple things here. I want to focus on. One, it is called the falling tower. So I don't get a push. Let's start right there. But I do feel a physical altercation as she ended up in the water. Now, this is what I kind of feel here. Is that when all this is kind of happening, going down, this guy's drunk, he's probably pissed off, and maybe he just said, yeah, we'll get you. And maybe he was real drunk, loaded, you know what I'm saying, and stuff. He doesn't exactly know what's going on. He's kind of, and stuff, and everything, and maybe he's so heated, pissed off, all that stuff. It could be in a moment snap, and he is the devil, but maybe he snaps out of it later. It's hard to say, but definitely for whatever reason. So I'm not necessarily getting a maybe I totally push in the water type of situation. Let's just dump the body, kind of stuff. I'm not necessarily getting the falling tower, okay, and stuff. But some kind of physical altercation gets in there. I do feel she's trying to get away. I feel push away, push away. Remember we talked about 8 of Wands, push away, get out of my face. And so 4 of Cups, push away. No, I don't want to deal with this right now, kind of thing. And stuff. All kinds of stuff there. But there's definitely some aggression. She didn't see what was coming. This would be this bad. And stuff and everything. And I definitely do not get a vibe, feel that she was trying to make him jealous. Okay? I definitely, this is not something she would want to do. Remember, there's some past incident in the first marriage where they did have an altercation. Okay, so this is not something she would want to do. Okay, to piss him off. But definitely when we look into his situation and stuff, I definitely feel he's haunted by the past. He's haunted by the past and stuff. And we've got the 7 of Wands. He got aggressive. There was a physical altercation. Okay? And stuff. And the moon, he's being deceptive. There's kind of a cloak of mystery here. He's being deceptive and stuff. He doesn't want to, this to come out. Of course, nobody wants to go to jail and go down for murder and things like that. But the message kind of really coming through here, looking at this whole situation, is that this heat of passion, crazy moment. This does not feel that he wanted to do this, but for whatever reason, things got so aggressive out of hand that this was the end result. Okay, and so she didn't just, he got away, he went into the room, I don't know where she is. He knew they had a physical altercation, and he knew she fell in the water. He knew she fell in the water. Okay, but for whatever, did he have a kind of a moment, a snap of darkness, try to get her out? No. Whatever little weird thing, that is a tough one. That is a tough one. So, but he definitely knew she fell in the water. He was aware of it. Okay, he knew she didn't go into town. This is a movie star. Okay, this is a movie star. She's not going to go into town in a nightgown and a coat and wool socks, and she's not going to take a dinghy into the dark water, especially when all her life she was warned to stay away from dark water. Okay, so very, very, very tragic end. So I know a lot of it, what you guys want to know is stuff, just like I said, what my feels are. Looking at that man on his deathbed and everything, we've got this, they're definitely trying to build a case charge and stuff. Could potentially be charged before he dies. That is a possibility. Okay, possible. I'm not sure, though. I'm not sure, and I hate to give you an unsure. But the Ace of Swords is popping out that the truth comes out. And somehow the truth comes out. Now, like I said, as far as, other witnesses or somebody knows something, or he's confessed to someone somewhere even before, something, though that may not be as likely, definitely there is something there. But there could be potentially a confession on the deathbed. That's what I'm kind of wondering. Especially, that's a pretty powerful card when you look at it, that old man and that certain thing being written down and something. But no matter what, I feel the truth comes out. That's the crazy thing. And which a 40-year-old mystery, which just turned 40 years in November last year. Just hit 40 years. And which is amazing. And so there's a little bit of due time. For this and stuff. So yeah, and with the Two of Cups, God, maybe it is fitting. Maybe it is almost fitting and stuff. So even kind of looking at that energy, spirit, message, all that stuff, really this is something she always wanted. It kind of even showed, maybe these people did love each other, but they were pretty mixed up. There were some pretty mixed up people. Maybe he is the devil and she knows it and stuff. But strange reason she went back, which is a crazy tragedy. I'm going to throw down just a couple more. I just want to kind of look some. What do you want to sum up for me, Spirit? Yeah. Even with this one, now this deck, okay, and stuff, we've got the reverse card, which is supposed to be the strength card. This one is called Force, okay? So one of the things we could kind of feel here is maybe we got overpowered. This time the lion overpowers the lady. Okay, like upright, the lady overpowers the lion, right? Uses force on the lady. Okay, so there was a physical altercation. There was force used. Okay, definitely. And so overpowered, she lost her strength. Okay, kind of look at that. The Knight of Coins and stuff. Really, the Knight of Coins, she is that woman, very often is a single woman, okay? Very often, the Knight of Coins, she's got that self-love, self-confidence, sense of self-worth, that beauty and stuff like that. You got that, and she's even kind of walking in there and everything. And so it's kind of a different kind of sad image. We still get, she looks very close. If you look real close, she looks like the Rider-Waite woman put on the map. She's dressed just like her. The Rider-Waite woman, and self-love, self-confidence, self-worth, dressed very lovely, appears, all that, has it all together and everything and stuff. But we've also got this storm, and I think it might have even been raining that night and stuff, but we got this kind of dark character. Kind of hanging around and everything and stuff with an umbrella over it and stuff and everything, just kind of about to walk into the rain and stuff. And they're really kind of going opposite ways in that direction. So it's a very interesting thing. But yes, my Nine of Pentacles woman. That's, I'm sure, how she would really like to be remembered. Really in spirit, and stuff in her movies and everything, her beauty and all that stuff. But very tragic. Three of Swords reverse. Definitely that is the heartache card. The heartache, the healing card and things like that. And I also even kind of look at the message. God would it, even her spirit, love everybody to heal. And see, this is another thing you guys got to think of. If I kind of think of her spirit above, okay, almost kind of a message. Obviously, Two of Cups, I feel this is a person who did love this person. Okay, except, but one of the things she would also, and stuff, I definitely feel. And so, as far as certain things maybe coming outward, like say with the father that he did this to the mother of these children, so maybe that's something that in her where she would not want them wounded here, that these children, maybe it's best they don't believe, that the father did something to her. Okay, it's kind of hard. It's like almost like, yes, the truth needs to come out, and it probably will. And so, but I feel that would be an area like, God, my kids to be heartbroken that their father did this to me. That I could definitely see some restraint, okay, on that, and maybe this is part of the reason. Is maybe even her wish that this is not so easily solved. Okay, is we got children involved, and just for their dad to have done this, what would it do to them? I can understand that. It's got a lot of stuff to unpack here, guys. Very powerful. In my estimation, definitely something happened that night. This is not something that she just fell. Okay, and stuff. Especially, I mean, she. I've got the falling tower in the sense that this is the Mars card. Still, though, the person is already down, but then another person falls later. So there does seem to be some kind of situation. And then inevitably, this that spirits kind of come for him, in some way that the truth will come out, okay, about certain situations. But I do feel also one of the things, even though Mars is violent energy, not intentional. And I feel this was a fight, physical altercation, accident, at least in the sense that, he didn't intend to do this, okay? But for whatever heat, anger, things like that, it completely feels out of control. Overpowered, okay, overpowered. The lion overpowers the lady, force, all that stuff, and it just, everything all falls apart. All falls apart and stuff. It's just very sad. And definitely we've got that moon, confusion, mystery, deception, being deceptive, and stuff. Definitely has not come out with the entire tale. And stuff. So it is a tough situation and stuff. So Ramalon, this is a very long read, probably one of the longest reads I've ever done, especially on a mystery, on a celebrity to touch on. But that's kind of what it looks like the spirit is kind of saying. It is kind of saying here and stuff. But it the story, maybe she went out to do the dinghy. It just, when you've had a lot to drink, when you're in your nightgown, I think it's raining and stuff, going, yeah, let's tie it up. After you've had a big old fight, highly unlikely. It's just, certain things just don't add up and stuff. And especially, why not alert the people, to come and look for her, stop, have a drink with the captain, let's drink some hard liquor and kind of sit here. The various things that happened that night are very bizarre. Why not put on the lights, the people who heard stuff and everything? But could a confession possibly come? Very possible. Very possible. But it's but it does look like somewhere they're going to get enough evidence, information out there, a report one day, the cops, that this case at least can be closed, held accountable, arrested, all that. And so I just, looking at that deathbed, I don't think you'll ever see an actual, jail. But I do feel, inevitably somewhere in there they can close the case. I hope you enjoyed my read.